Coronation Street has shared an important update about Lou Michaelis, months after she last appeared on the famous street. The long-running ITV soap confirmed fresh news about Lou following her sudden exit earlier this year. The infamous mother of three, portrayed by Farrell Hegarty, first turned up in Weatherfield in February with her violent husband Mick. The couple immediately stirred trouble in the neighborhood after settling into Maudsley Street. But in May, the storyline took a grim twist when Mick savagely killed fan favorite Craig Tinker during a drunken rampage. It later came to light that Mick had also been violent and controlling towards his wife, Lou. Lou's own disturbing actions were exposed when she struck Gary Windass with a metal rod after he declined to help with her frantic cash grab plot. When it was revealed that Gary was fighting for his life in hospital, viewers learned Lou had been secretly keeping watch over him, posing as his spouse. Yet her motives were anything but pure. She was actually responsible for the injuries that landed him there. Her deception was eventually uncovered, leading to her arrest and imprisonment. Her children Brody, Joanie, and Shanice were then cared for by Sally and Tim Metcalfe. In another dramatic development, Joanie was briefly removed to stay with an aunt after social workers realized she was hurting her little sister Shanice. This week, the series unveiled a fresh twist involving Lou, confirming she had appeared in court for fighting while behind bars. During Friday's episode, Joanie returned to Sally's home, which delighted her siblings. Adding more fuel to the unfolding storyline, a Coronation Street writer recently hinted at Lou possibly coming back. On the Stateside podcast, Jan McVeary said, "We introduced the Michaelis clan, Mick and Lou, and they made an immediate explosive impact." She continued, "Viewers despised them, but they created loads of drama and left us a strong legacy through Brody." McVeary then teased, "This won't be the last we see of that family. They'll be back in the picture again." Carla Connor suspects Becky Swain is behind new allegations directed at her, while Todd Grimshaw continues to be manipulated by his partner, Theo Silverton, in upcoming Coronation Street episodes. Meanwhile, elsewhere in Weatherfield, Tim Metcalfe orders his wife Sally to stop making hints about his ex Tricia before the Michaelis children notice the tension. During a lunch outing, Sally spots Tricia sitting with a teenage boy and struggles to keep her composure. When the boy clarifies that he is Tricia's nephew, will Sally offer an apology? It appears Sally's remarks are starting to affect Tim. When Brody asks him about Tricia, Tim snaps at his son, leaving him upset. Over at Alfie Franklin's nursery, a call reports he is unwell. Roy Cropper suggests Abby Webster ask her new partner, Carl Webster, to pick him up so she doesn't have to miss her counseling session. Carl reluctantly agrees, but Alfie refuses to cooperate. When Kevin Webster arrives, Alfie's excitement gives Carl a chance to hand him over. Later, Abby questions Carl about his happiness in their new life together. Carl reassures her of his commitment. After dropping Alfie at nursery, Abby returns home to discover Carl has decorated their flat with candles for a romantic setting. As she briefly leaves the room, Carl cancels a call on her phone to avoid interruptions. When Abby admits that Jack ignored her on the street, Carl comforts her with a hug. At the Rovers, Tracy Barlow provokes Abby by suggesting Kevin was Alfie's only reliable parent. Enraged, Abby punches Tracy, only to realize Kevin witnessed the altercation, leaving her shocked. Elsewhere, Carla tells Lisa Swain about her plans for a treat-filled day to mark the anniversary of their first kiss. But her mood sours when a police officer informs her of a complaint about fraudulent activity at her factory. Carla immediately suspects Becky is behind the complaint. Later, DC Kit Green confirms the allegation is baseless, allowing Carla to leave the station determined to confront her rival. Meanwhile, Nina Lucas questions Roy Cropper about his newfound obsession with the Post, pressing him about the secret he's hiding. Later, Ed Bailey sets up a library box in the cafe for Roy, following guidance from his mysterious new pen pal. Who is this secret correspondent? Back with Theo, he finds Todd unconscious on the sofa. Spotting clean laundry, Theo separates all the white shirts, puts them in the washing machine, and leaves. George Shuttleworth panics when Todd fails to arrive at work and cannot be reached. Christina Boyd steps in to assist and calls Todd's flat, where he realizes his alarm didn't go off, he is late, and his shirts are mid-cycle. Angry, George informs Todd he is no longer needed as Christina will cover. Todd is left frustrated as they leave without him, while Theo tells him not to accept the situation passively. Todd is surprised by Theo's support, unaware he is being manipulated. Later, George and Christina return after successfully managing the funeral, and when George continues to berate Todd for his failures, Todd loses his temper. At the Platts' home, Kit moves his belongings into Sarah's flat. Excited to celebrate their next step, they head to the bedroom. Meanwhile, David feels it is time to share their baby's health concerns with close family, but Shona hesitates. Later in the bistro, Nick, Toya Battersby, and Bethany Platt are shocked when David reveals that the baby is critically ill and may not survive. Overwhelmed with questions, Shona storms out in anger. Todd Grimshaw's anger boils over in Coronation Street as Theo manipulates him, leaving his friends stunned. In upcoming episodes, Theo Silverton's abuse of Todd reaches a more dangerous stage as he cunningly provokes Todd into losing control. What began as subtle signs of Theo's disturbing behavior has escalated into full-blown control and emotional abuse. He has driven a wedge between Todd and his friends, particularly isolating him from Billy Mayhew, and even slept with another man in the flat he shares with Todd. His constant verbal put-downs have occasionally escalated into physical humiliation, including one scene where he force-fed Todd a kebab and another where he drenched him in milk. Soon, Todd is dismayed to learn that Theo expects him to reconcile with Pete, the man Theo had an affair with, who now holds the key to work opportunities for Theo and Gary. Given the emotional hurt Todd experienced due to Theo's betrayal, this is an enormous and painful request. Meanwhile, Todd and George are preparing for a major funeral of a respected local figure. Theo spots a chance to frustrate Todd and drive a wedge between him and George, his friend and employer. On the morning of the funeral, Todd wakes up after sleeping on the sofa to discover his alarm didn't ring. To make matters worse, all his white shirts are mid-cycle in the washing machine, placed there by Theo. Without proper attire, he can't perform his duties at the funeral. George, unable to reach Todd, begins to panic, but Christina steps in to fill his role and help with the arrangements. When Todd finally contacts George, he is furious to learn he is no longer needed at the funeral and that Christina is taking over. Theo further stirs the pot, insisting that George is treating Todd unfairly and that he shouldn't allow his boss to walk over him. Todd feels supported, unaware that Theo has orchestrated the chaos to manipulate him. After George and Christina return from the funeral, pleased with how it went, they encounter Todd, who is fuming and vents his anger directly at George. George, known for his patience, usually forgives easily, but with his professional reputation at risk because Todd didn't show up on time, this outburst could have serious consequences. Has Theo succeeded in further isolating Todd from the people who genuinely care about him? Coronation Street continues on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX and YouTube.